Where were you 22 years ago? Here's the moment of silence.
They're showing the moment of silence. Bro, I'm sorry. They're trying to make it happen. They're trying to make 9/11 happen. It's not happening. It's been 22 years. Like, people, like, so many people who have consciousness now were not alive when it happened. Like, no one's gonna take it seriously. It's just not gonna happen. Like, so many people were not alive in the minds of the American public. Let me explain something to you. Lol, man, trying to get banned again. I kid. No, I mean, it was a devastating attack, okay? Make no mistake. I think everyone understands that, right? Even if you weren't there, even if you were not alive, like, you get it. What I'm trying to explain here is that 9/11 and its impact in American consciousness was incredibly intense. It completely changed the game for a lot of Americans. Like, and we're going to talk about that today. I once wrote an article on Huffington Post. This is not an edgelord take at all. Please, you're misunderstanding. You're missing the forest for the trees, okay? You're hyper-focusing on what you think I'm saying here and making an edgelordy take, and you're failing to comprehend the bigger picture. So I wrote an article about 9/11 on Huffington Post years ago, okay? 9/11 was awful. What we did after was worse, okay? This was many years ago. This was many years before I said America deserved 9/11 and got fucking ass clapped over it and raked over the coals. What I mean is, don't believe me about 9/11 and like America's reception to it, then just look at army recruitment, military recruitment numbers. The military openly says, because of especially COVID too, because the recruiters were not allowed to go to schools during COVID, and because we're 22 years removed from 9/11, that like their recruitment numbers are fucking abysmal. They're abysmal because 9/11 had a major impact on the American consciousness. Military numbers went fucking crazy, but the military is on the record on NPR complaining about how 9/11 was a major boost to their numbers and their recruitment, and 22 years later, nobody gives a shit. So now I feel like caring this much about 9/11 22 years after the fact, it comes across as like kind of fake. You know what I mean? It just comes across as kind of fake. Like, oh, remember we were scarred that day. Like, and it's more so, it's no longer about like the people that died on that day and remembering the people that died on that day, and about the scar that this nation, this great beautiful nation took. And now that like we've done way more awful shit since 9/11 for the past 22 fucking years, we've done like 9/11 times 100 all around the fucking world. It just comes, and many of those things have been like overt failures. It always feels like people are just, you know, they're pulling this to aesthetically be like, no, you have to care about this. You have to care about this. You have to get very sad about this on this day. Remember what happened. Like, it was a tragedy. Like, it was a tragedy. But that's just not how human beings operate, in my opinion. No matter how tragic, we have the capacity to adapt and overcome. And I feel like at this stage, they've moved past it. They've moved beyond it. U.S. didn't even invade the country that actually did 9/11. Yes, the U.S. never did anything to the country that actually facilitated 9/11. The United States actually still kept being an ally to the country that did 9/11 and facilitated 9/11. Not only that, but the United States also added a country that was against the country that did 9/11, that was a formative ally, Iran. The United States did not give a shit about Saudi Arabia's contributions to 9/11 and turned around and put Iran, Saudi Arabia's enemy and our partner in the global war on terror, in the axis of evil. Like, that should show you how little anybody gave a shit about like the actual facts of the matter. Let's get into it. Let's watch this moment of silence real quick.
Right, quick, march.
Yeah, America was never silent. Bagpipes are a fun touch for like a 9/11 memorial. 9/11, 2001, as it happened. The following program is made from news footage and amateur video broadcasts or recorded on September 11th, 2001. It contains scenes and language that may disturb some viewers, okay?
That?
It sounded like a plane crash.
Hey, Beth. What is that? Somebody hit the World Trade Center or the...
I just heard a loud boom.
One of the biggest cover-ups in U.S. history. Dude, that's so... Oh, by the way, I obviously love 9/11 conspiracies. For those of you who don't know, the uniqueness of 9/11 conspiracies is that, like, given that it was a Bush administration, a lot of the conspiracies are actually left-wing conspiracies or liberal conspiracies originally that kind of turned into, like, right-wing conspiracies as enough time passed. And you have the basics like jet fuel can't melt steel beams. You have the Bush did 9/11s. And then you have like the really anti-Semitic ones, right? World Trade Center Tower 7 fell on its own. That was weird. I still don't fully understand what the fuck happened there. But then you also have like the very real questions that people have about 9/11. Why did American assets get to operate freely on U.S. soil and like quite literally have our agencies know before 9/11 that like a 9/11 style attack might happen on U.S. soil, and they did nothing about it? Which 9/11 conspiracies do you believe in? I mean, the 9/11 conspiracies I believe in are not necessarily conspiracies or conspiracy theories. It's more so, how do I describe it? The 9/11 conspiracy theories that I believe in aren't necessarily conspiracies. They're just like mostly just like the blowback of it all, obviously, like our actions in the Middle East leading directly to 9/11. And not only that, but also the things I just mentioned, like the FBI and the CIA had full knowledge. Yeah, so the looming tower is a good they were on our radar moment that like very clearly describes why 9/11 as an attack had full knowledge, like that the American intelligence agencies had full knowledge of a 9/11 style attack, and the people that actually were doing 9/11 were, you know, American assets or worked under American assets, one of which was literally the OG 9/11 guy, the Blind Sheik, and the connections to Blind Sheik, and the people that worked under Blind Sheik, who was literally under CIA custody at that point. You know what I mean? Like, these guys were directly being controlled, or at least like were operating under the full knowledge of the FBI and the CIA. And if you want to give a more realist, more tame perspective on it, you say, well, there wasn't interagency communication. That is what the official American our bad moment is. Like the classic, oh, we did know, or like this was on our radar, but there wasn't enough collaboration amongst FBI and the CIA, and that's how we kind of fucked it up, which is a ridiculous thing to say, for the record. I don't think so. I don't believe that at all. I'm Saudi Arabian, and it's bad that the royals did that, but like the CIA 1000% let them. Yeah, no, exactly. That's identical to my perspective, which is that 9/11 happened under the watchful eye of the American intelligence communities, and then they moved very quickly to seize on that opportunity. They let 3,000 Americans die, and then they very quickly, like instantaneously, seized on the opportunity and enacted a war on terror that was infinitely more brutal than 9/11 times a million. And that they did this specifically to enact America's imperialist agenda, and we're still living in the post 9/11 world. It wasn't necessarily just a thing that impacted the rest of the world in a negative way. It also hurt America in a negative way as well. It hurt Americans in a negative way. And the irony, of course, is that, so many Americans refuse to recognize that. They don't give a fuck. They don't understand it. They're too stupid to understand it. And I'm sick and tired of trying to describe it at this point. I've given up. I don't give a shit. Yeah, dude, you're right. It's the worst thing that's ever happened on the fucking planet. And America did everything righteous immediately after. Don't forget the greatest benefactors of the Iraq War was Halliburton, an oil company whose previous CEO was Dick Cheney. Yes. Some people say post 9/11 hate on Muslims will cause the Boston bombing. I don't know if that's the case, but I mean, I'm certain that like the anti-Muslim sentiment didn't help, and it hasn't helped. It was gross and terrifying for a very, very long time. The USA will never recover from the Islamophobia for sure. I mean, we've kind of moved past it. It's not as bad. Let me tell you something, okay? It was so much fucking worse 10 years ago. Like, it has gotten significantly better. The Islamophobia domestically has gotten infinitely better. You guys are crazy. But yeah, let's continue. So 9/11 2001 as it happened.
You did? Was it a plane?
Immediately, there's speculation or cause for concern. This is the World Trade Center that was the center of a terrorist bombing some years ago. So the questions have to be asked, was this purely an accident, or could this have been an intentional act? But either way, extensive damage has been done.
What's this other jet doing? What's this other jet doing? Holy fuck!
I think my favorite 9/11 conspiracy has to be that, like, in spite of so much like documentation on the acts that transpired on this day, there are still motherfuckers who are like, it was a hologram. Like, I need to understand the mind of a human being that looks at this footage from like 1,000 different angles and still goes, nah, brother, it's a hologram. That's a real thing. There are people out there, guys, there are people out there who believe 9/11 was not real. It wasn't a real thing that happened. It was a hologram. I went to the 9/11 Museum and Memorial, and it was genuinely a touching and eye-opening experience. Definitely would recommend if you're in New York City. Sure. I mean, I think it's also very symbolic of America to just like build a fucking mall and in its stead. But anyway, yeah, they just have a big mall underneath a building. But anyway.
Looks like 6, 7 floors were taken out. And there's more explosions right now. Hold on, people are running.
Wait, so hold on just a moment. We've got an explosion inside.
The building's exploding right now. You got people running up the street.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll tell you what's going on.
Right, oh my God, another plane has just hit. It hit another building. Flew right into the middle of it. Explosion. My God, it's right in the middle of the building.
Take your reader up from under your seat. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 150.
A classic. This is a classic. Look at his face. God, he was so fucking stupid, dude. Oh, God, I mean, looking back at it, this is a war criminal of the highest magnitude. Still worse than Donald Trump, by the way. Just, I'll stand by that. But like, now that we're 22 years removed from the death and destruction, even though the death and destruction still continues worldwide, it's like he's such a fucking idiot. Like he was in many ways the perfect guy to be president during 9/11 because he was such a goofball, such a fucking dumb baboon. You know what I mean?
Don't, Megan, you can't.
Bye, I love you.
Megan.
Mom, I'm in Carol. I'm getting the
please wait for me.
We do have some videotape of the second plane, and you can see it there.
Where? I didn't see it. Oh, whoa.
Where were you when this happened? On a rooftop in New Jersey dancing. No, man, I was in fucking Turkey.
We're under attack.
And from our vantage point, yeah, clearly difficult to tell.
We're under attack.
What type of plane that is, but it's a horrific scene.
All right, we've just been told also, Michael, sorry, the New York Stock Exchange is being evacuated, as is, I'm sure, much of Wall Street, if not all of it, as much as possible. But the New York Stock Exchange has suspended trading for the moment.
It's war.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
Damn, they got the kids behind them too?
This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the 2 towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
You sound like you were happy dancing your ass off in Turkey? Yeah, dude. At 10 years old, I was like, wow. At 10 years old, I was like, wow, I love the fucking geopolitical implications of this. It's so sick. That's what I was doing as a 10-year-old.
I hope I live. I hope I live. It's coming down on me. Here
Bro, run.
I'm getting behind a car.
Anthony, you okay? Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Watch out, watch out.
People ask what should have been done about 9/11, and like my answer is probably going to piss people off, but I don't give a shit. If America did literally nothing, like genuinely nothing after 9/11, instead of the things that they did, it would be objectively better. Obviously, that's not the expectation, but what America did post 9/11 is so insanely fucked up, both internationally on a global spectrum, but also domestically with the Patriot Act, with the Department of Homeland Security, with ICE, and all these other like projects that America implemented that they had wanted to for a very long time, and saw 9/11 as like the perfect opportunity to like really kick America's like military state, America's surveillance state into high gear, straight the fuck up. America, if they had done nothing after 9/11, it would have been literally better than the things that they did after 9/11. 20-year war, like endless fucking war, the American military-industrial complex even exploding even more out of control. It's just so fucking bad. The right thing to do is dismantle the DOD. They were full on, you fuck with us and we're going to fuck up the world. I mean, I think that they just, you're talking about like, I think the people on the ground, like the people, like the American population and their genuine interest. And yes, they were out for blood because America, geopolitically speaking, is very far away in proximity from every other country. America did not withstand any serious casualties on the mainland during World War II. That was actually a big part of the reason why the Marshall Plan worked so effectively. America had a major leg up post World War II on Europe. You know what I mean? For those reasons, like because they were far away from the battle. So this was the first time since Pearl Harbor where U.S. soil was targeted by a foreign actor. It was a major spiritual crisis. It created so much psychic damage in the hearts of Americans that were riding the wave.
In Washington, there is a large fire at the Pentagon. The Pentagon has been evacuated. And there's, you can see, perhaps the second tower, the front tower, the top portion of which is collapsing. Good Lord. There are no words. We have a report that
as a Muslim, 9/11 always just reminds me of all the pain, torture, and havoc the West has wrought upon us, billions of brothers and sisters and MB since then. Yeah, it's just like, it's very, very, very difficult for me to see this as anything but like a group of fucking freaks that America funded, facilitated, armed, helped out, attacking America, and then America turning around and making that everyone else's problem, like literally everyone else's problem. People that had no say in the matter, people that were duking it out with said factions in that fucking region, having to experience it from both ends, both from the fundamentalists that Americans had armed and and defended, offered logistic support to, and then also America itself and its fucking military machine. It is so fucking annoying. It is so fucking frustrating. It is such bullshit. It's just, that's why I have this callous indifference to the bloodshed that occurred, because I do not place the value of one group of individuals over the other, even though this is an atrocity, because these people did not deserve to fucking die. These are innocent civilians. Like, what the fuck? They didn't do this. They don't have any say in the process. What America did afterwards is so fucking devastating that it's impossible for me to look away from that. That's just it. This is probably one of the best gaming streams that we've ever conducted. Mom, I'm gaming with T-Pain.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, that was amazing.
Bitch!
Oh, wait, what is that? I pulled out a bunch of knives.
Oh! It's the Oppie way!
My whole life, I've been told if I can shoot and move. My whole life, I've been told shoot and move. And now you're telling me, don't move. I need to explore the heroes.
I'm not gonna lie, you don't. You don't need to do this. You right now, you're in the sweet spot where you're like, oh, this game is fun. Like, I'm killing people. I'm confused as to what's going on. And then it's so much darkness.
Reloading.
Rocket coming! Wait, did the just teleport away?
What in the was that? What was that?
This is fun. I like this. I like this gameplay.